a seat to the bar and join us for another episode of McAnally's Pubcast, a podcast exploring the fun and fantastical mind of Jim Butcher's The Dresden Files series. Hosts Tansenn, Jess, and Maggie bring you another round of literary analysis on this immense, immersive, and colorful environment inhabited by Harry Dresden, the world's only licensed private investigator and professional wizard. Join an active and engaged community of new and die-hard dedicated fans focused on the fabulous themes, theories, characters, context, lore, and more. This is McAnally's Dresden Files Pubcast, brought to you by Free Flow Rambling. Conjure by it at your own risk. Welcome to the McAnally's Pubcast, brought to you by Free Flow Rambling. This is episode 9.8, Threefold Attack, where we are covering the novel Summer Night. My name is Tansenn, and I'm joined by Maggie.
Hello, hello.
And Jess.
Hotel. Thank you to our Patreon subscribers for your generous support. It's people like you who help us to do what we do. If you're not yet a Patreon subscriber, sign up today and get a fuck ton of bonus content, kick-ass merch, behind-the-scenes outtakes, and more. Sign up today at www.patreon.com/freeflowrambling.
Chapter 9. Morgan crosses Dresden's wards and enters his apartment. He accuses Harry of being under the influence of the vampires and goads him until Dresden loses his temper and draws his sword on him. Dresden quickly realizes this is part of the Merlin's plan and disarms himself. Morgan delivers a message from the senior council stating they will not be involved themselves in Harry's trial and leaves. Elaine emerges from her hiding spot, opts not to involve the White Council, and too takes her leave.
So just as he's almost convinced her it'll be a good idea, no, let's just go talk to the council, this is bigger than both of us, we need the help, boom. Open up, Dresden, you traitor, I have questions for you. And Elaine goes, council? And Harry goes, And Elaine goes, I'm gonna go fucking hide over here. And he goes, yeah, probably a good idea. So he opens the door, and there's
you'll
Morgan.
huff, and you'll puff, and so on.
Right. I know you're in there. So he's out of his wizardly robes and just in his usual, which we've described before. He's got some slacks and a collared shirt and a sports jacket or whatever. And his incognito, let me hide this giant broadsword I carry around, is a golf bag. Which I'm like, granted, it might not be that noticeable, but I'm like, that's like golf bags aren't that. I mean, I know they're not that light, but it's like, I'm sure, but like they're heavy enough, a golf bag. So yes, I get he's like a big tall guy and he's big and strong, but I'm like, it's still gonna be probably kind of awkward, especially because clubs like shift around in the bag, and I'm like, it's just kind of funny to think of Morgan walking around with a golf bag around just so he can
people don't walk around with golf bags.
No,
like,
I guess they don't walk around with swords either. I suppose one of them's a little bit more likely.
Well, but at least like a duffel bag or something like
Harry uses a duffel bag. Other ones use like the sword and the cane sort of thing.
Well, that's Harry has his sword cane.
I know,
more
but
often.
Harry uses a duffel bag a lot of the time for his
yeah,
blasting rod and whatever.
Yes, yeah. There is a thing sometimes like a hockey bag or a duffel bag
but
or
still,
something
like,
where
yeah,
it's
a golf
slightly,
bag is
but
like.
well, and especially because you have to have it full of golf bags or it's not going to hide the
In the
fact
middle
that
of
you've got
Chicago, I'm gonna be like, where are you going golfing?
It's a little pretentious,
It's
too.
like, well, right.
Well,
Which, I mean,
the sports
that's
jacket
why
and
it's
the
like
golf
setting it
bag
up,
and
right?
Let me just see if my buddy Harry can go play golf, and I'll just get the golf clubs out of my car, walk down to his basement suite, knock on the door, see if he's available. You want to come? Okay, let's go back up. I'll put my clubs back in the car. Let's drive to the car. Like, I'm like,
And in the middle of the night. Like, if I see someone walking around with a golf bag in the middle of the night, I'm like, that guy is breaking and entering.
He's about to fuck up some shit or some person.
Yeah.
I was like, he is wailing on someone with those clubs.
I'm trying to think of a better way to hide a sword, though, but it's kind of like,
I know, the options are limited, but at the same time, it's like...
Like, okay, when we first meet him in...
art portfolio tube? I don't know.
Yeah, you could have a big long tube across your back that way. I was gonna say, he has like his trench coat on in Stormfront the first time we meet him out by the lake house. But I'm like, well, that was like spring. I'm like, I guess it's supposed to, Harry keeps saying it's super hot because it's, mid to end of June, just before the solstice here. But I was like, I'm sure Morgan can do like a self-cooling spell or something.
He could have stepped through the Never Never, like from somewhere, just to show up and fuck up Harry, and then be like, all right, bye. I'm going back to where I was. Where it's
but
cold.
I was like, it seems like that would be less awkward and whatever than carrying around a big giant fucking like just hide it under your coat like normal.
So you spend all your time in Edinburgh, and you just show up every now and again to fuck up Harry in Chicago, and they're like, all right, back to Edinburgh.
It's normal. Everybody in Edinburgh walks around with golf clubs all the time. This is the birthplace.
That's where you go to golf.
Yeah, right. It's you new age, whatever, Americans with your brand new
These darn
baby
cities, not enough
country.
room for golf courses.
Right.
And Dresden, of course, sasses Morgan, of course.
Instantly.
With threats of porn and lewd.
I know. Am I interrupting anything? Well, I was going to settle down a little more, but I don't think I have enough for both.
I can't even watch a porn video. He'd have to use a magazine.
He's like, it's really awkward because I have to use like an old VCR and I have to sit like literally on the opposite
So
side.
far back, I can't even tell what's happening.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
And if I get too into it, I'm going to blow the whole thing.
Ba-dum-bum.
That was good. That was good.
You disgust me, Dresden.
Oh, so you disgust me? I cannot hear that line without that now. Hamilton has quote-unquote ruined.
Burr, you disgust me.
Oh, so you disgust me.
I think what's funny about Dresden sassing him in the way he does that makes it so much funnier is because Morgan has zero sense of humor and is
Yeah.
so serious and just
And exactly for like this kind of like a crude, lewd boys comment kind of a thing, right? He's just like, ugh.
And then immediately Harry just shuts the door on his face, or tries to.
Tries to. But he's like, I'm not finished. Oh yeah, I'm a bad man.
So we got that settled. Bye!
Yeah. But I like how like the implication is like, oh, I'd invite you, but I just don't think I have enough to like,
Baby oil,
there's
yeah.
just like the dregs, and I don't think there's enough for both of us, buddy. Sorry.
Next time, call ahead. I'll be way better prepared.
Like that's the only thing keeping him from.
it's a good moment.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
So yeah, tries to slam.
Not quoted enough. Quite frankly, with all the other Dresden quotes you see going around, that one's just so high up there.
That one is just, yeah.
Our next piece of swag. Yes.
Just the last half of that quote. It's like, oh, but I really don't think I have enough for two.
So Morgan demands to know why Mab has chosen Dresden due to the suspicious timing of the events with the council
How
meeting.
convenient. Yeah, that's fairies.
Well, right. But yes, the youngest wizard with, the one thing that could save you in this situation that has surprisingly come up at this time. And again, Harry's got,
He really doesn't give Morgan like a moment. Like he is just snappy. He's got the
Right.
nonstop. Cannot say a thing to
Well,
him.
it's already Morgan, so it's already
Yeah.
been a thorn in his side for years and years and years. Now, in the last couple of years, he actually got Morgan off his back. Like, oh, I'm sorry, you had to vouch for me and got me off the hook.
This sucks for you.
So he's got even more. Where it's like before, he kind of had some of that like respect and terror for because.
Yeah.
His life literally was in Morgan's hands and stuff. So
This
he
is
kinda
Harry Dresden, no Dumadamocles.
yeah, right now he's like, every comment I never made to make, I can just let them all out now.
Bam, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and exactly right.
But still, there's been times before, it's rare, but there's been times when Harry's like, too easy. But even this one, he's just like, every possible shot, taking it.
Yeah.
You know what I think you think? How does it fall on you? My Mondo wheels and killer bachelor pads. You think you're funny. I know I'm funny. Like, just
I'm
toe to toe to toe.
funny.
Yeah.
It's quick wit.
But yeah. Clean living, that and my Mondo wheels, and killer bachelor.
Yeah. So, Morgan, the unfunny man that he is, gets straight to business. He's like, shut up about your jokes.
Yeah.
I came to pick a fight, bitch.
I think you planned all this.
Right, the mastermind. Okay.
Right.
How smart do you think he is?
Yeah, you're in with the vampires and the Winter Court, right?
Just manipulating the fuck out of everyone, really.
He can't even make friends with other wizards, and you think he's like, me, vampires, fairies, like, we're good.
But yeah, and he's like, I tried not to laugh. No, really, I did. And Morgan doesn't like that and just slugs him.
Right, assault much?
Like, that's a crime. You can't walk into someone's house and punch him in the face. Although,
you can.
So
I will say,
escalated.
Harry didn't invite him inside.
Yes.
So he did lose a little bit of power at the threshold. Not that Harry has a super strong one, but there is one.
But he's still, and it's interesting, right? Because he's like, that didn't really slow him down any.
Yeah.
He's like, but my wards did catch up. So I although I guess...
He hasn't even crossed the wards yet. He does this right after. He punches him and then pushes past him through the wards.
No, yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. He does.
So he just does this out of pure fucking spite.
As they're still just that's how he gets in. Yeah, you're
Then he
right.
walks in, and then, the wards try to catch up, and Morgan basically, like, dispels that. He's like, who fucking cares?
Yeah, he's like, ooh, zap.
Yeah.
Like, ooh, scary. Yeah, and Dresden's like, great. Mm-hmm. So I was going to say, I was like, that's nice. Elaine, like, just put them back. But I was like, I guess Harry came in. It did take him a second before, so I guess Harry could have, like, come in and rearmed them and then found Elaine. Because I was like, well, she just broke in. And
Well,
he
you
just
turn
came in, so
around,
the
you
ward's
lock
even
the-
up. Yeah.
Come in, lock the door, turn around, someone's sitting on your couch.
Exactly right. So I was like, oh, I guess he may be.
Yeah,
But
so
point
there's
is, not much of
like,
an impediment at all.
I don't know, like, Morgan very quickly jumps. He's like, you're the evil mastermind. He's like, okay, all right, no, you're right, that is stupid. Okay, you're very stupid, you're being used by them.
Right.
Like, real quick, he's like, well, yeah, okay,
Still
all
an
right.
angle this can work, but yeah, you're right. Maybe
Yeah,
you're
fair
not,
enough, all right.
Yeah. But he really starts because like you say, so he slugs him. So Harry finally recovers between getting the breath punched out of him and just his laughing fit. He's like, what the hell are you talking about? And he's like, Susan Rodriguez, your vampire lover. And he's like, we don't talk about Susan. Like,
Also, she's not a vampire.
yeah. He's like, first off, she is not, and you don't talk about her. And he's like, well, they turned her. And he's like, not completely. Right? So,
Well, then
yeah,
Morgan's
he
all
just-
like, we gotta get rid of you. It's the only, like, that's the safest plan for everyone. And that's when Harry's like, what? Am I in danger? I think I'm in trouble all of a sudden.
Because, like, all the rest of this hasn't really had an impact. But wait a second, what?
Yeah. Well, no, but a man, like, forces his way into your apartment and he's like, it's time to get rid of you. And you're like, oh, shit, there's no witnesses. Even though there is a witness, but there isn't a witness, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Morgan's really figured out that Susan is like a good pressure point for him. Just continues to press
Well,
it.
yeah, and I don't think, like, he really doesn't say, like, I'm here to just get rid of you because I think you're a problem. Because he really does taunt and goad Harry into making that first move. So he's really just laying, it's not like Harry's like, oh shit, Morgan's here to, right? Because that's not the point of it at all, is Morgan needs him. He's literally there just...
He needs Harry to swing first.
Just to piss him off about Susan. You know, like, well, there's no turning back. Like, nobody can ever get, there's no coming back from that. She eventually is,
And I mean,
if she hasn't been all along just one of their whores. And
it's not a hard thing to determine. I mean, he started an entire war with the entire Red Court because of Susan. It's not like it takes a genius to figure out he cares about her. Like,
no, absolutely not.
You don't have to be Murphy and Michael to be like, whew, he's really hung up. Like,
yeah, but that's all I meant was that Morgan is very specifically,
Yes.
because he's not just like,
She's
I
their
think you're
whore, she
badass,
was
I'm
a
just going to
plant.
kill you, because that defeats the, like you say, he doesn't have a leg to stand on that way.
Yeah, Morgan goes so far to say that no normal woman would be interested in Harry.
I know,
just
a bit of a low blow, right?
This coming from
Like-
you, Morgan? Come on.
imagine you're like 100 and something just bullying a 28-year-old.
A
No one will
normal,
ever love you.
a normal mortal woman would ever feel that way about you. Like,
I can't get a date. You can't get a date.
right.
Projection.
Which makes it so sweet later on when Harry steals his love.
So
Kinda.
maybe, I don't know.
There are the lines, but still.
Yeah. So so he works, and you kind of, like you say, you're kind of right there with Harry a little bit. Like, you're like, like, this is low.
Yeah.
Like, we know that you don't like him, right? But we're like, I was like, well, you can't bear the thought that Harry might have an out to this and might get out again, and you're just here and you're picking, like, the one, like, fresh open wound.
Unlike Elaine, we've had Susan since the beginning.
And
It's
right?
like, we care about Susan. We like Susan,
Yeah,
like,
we're definitely invested as readers.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Exactly,
we
yeah.
were there for her story and what
Exactly.
happened to her, right? It's not maybe something that happened, yeah.
Yeah.
So part of us is all like, yeah, when he grabs his sword cane out, and you're like, yeah, you teach that son of a. Mm-hmm. And then there's just a moment, but that was good. He's like, in that moment, I was sure I could have killed him. He's like, he might have taken me with him, but I could have done it, and I wanted to badly. Not in any sort of intellectual sense, but in the part of the brain that does all the thinking after the fact. My temper had frayed to bloody tatters, and I wanted to vent it on Morgan. But somehow, luckily enough, because we need more of this book to continue, a thought sneaks through.
Light bulb.
End of the series. Thanks for coming, folks.
Right?
That's all, folks.
So, which really is again, if it wasn't for the fact that he needed to realize this, I'm like, I don't know if he was that worked up. I'm like, honestly, like, if it had been me, I don't know if I really would have been. I don't know if that sliver of logic would have gotten through that rage and emotion. But thankfully for Harry.
That's a wizard's power thinking.
That, right, yeah.
I will say,
things.
though, that Jim Butcher did a really good job sneaking in this third thing, because like by the time you leave the council,
forgot about it.
You've moved on. Yeah, you're like 1, 2, 3 is probably in there. I'm just bad at counting, and then
or you just forgot that it was because it gets mentioned like before they go into the council. So by the time you're just so caught up in everything, you didn't even remember. There's
even
a
like
threefold plan to
trying
that.
to think about what it was, because it's not like it was like again referenced again as it was happening. So you got to look back and you're like, okay, the first one was
trying to get
do the
Christos into the the first was trying to get their guy on the council and
then do the
Ebenezer,
vote, right?
And then make it an open vote,
right? And then the second one would have been the
open vote.
Oh, okay.
Yes, okay. That's what it is. So the first one was yes, they just because everybody's already denied it, so we can just stick our guy in Petrovich's place. So right there, we're outnumbered 4-3, and then McCoy got onto took that position, so they ousted their guy there. So
and then the one to help
make it the open vote. Where, again, all the other scared wizards who don't know what's going on would have been like, yeah.
Well, because Harry had to help himself for the second one. It was 50-50 there, and so that was the Mab thing, too.
Yes.
So,
that was
the 50-50 one, and now this is the third one will be all you.
Yeah.
But still, it was a good... It was a good
call because
I mean, went and talked to Murphy, went and talked to Elaine, went and talked to Morgan. Oh, right. Shut up. There's so many plots to keep track of.
Right? So many threads.
Yeah. So Harry breaks it all down. He's like, oh, there's another warden watching. You came to goad me into a fight. If I kill you, maybe you die, but then I also die, and then the war is averted. You hand over my body, and everyone's happy.
Yeah.
And then Morgan's all like, what?
Supposedly.
Oh, yeah, this is where we find out he did not go to acting school. Drama he is. Drama student he is not.
Yeah. Well, the initial reaction is good. Because that's it. Harry's about to, like, don't you die. And he, pulls his sword, and then all of a sudden he's just like, that's number 3. And Morgan's like, what? Like, we're in this? And then,
talking about Dresden.
Yeah. And but then, when he explains, he's like, shit. No.
You get this, really, bone-worry thing from, Harry just goes, 100 to 0, and he's just like, get out, Morgan.
Yeah.
It's just like, which you getting tricked into this? I'd be just fucking hell.
So overall, yeah, exactly. And again, that's that, the adrenaline and the letdown, you would just be like, nothing, just completely deflated,
Even again, as we know, he just spent 10 minutes defending the council too, right? And this is just another blow. You're just like,
you're a fucking asshole.
He knows in the back somebody's hearing this. Going, see, that was a dumb idea. Dumb.
He's I told you so.
Yes, it was a bad idea. It was a bad idea.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that this was all a ruse, though, given the opportunity, Morgan immediately jumps onto it again. He's like, oh, is your vampire girl here after all?
Yeah, so I was going to say, Morgan at least has the grace, to play by the rules. I mean, Harry has always said he's very straight and narrow.
Well, kind of, with the exception of punching people randomly in the face.
Well, okay, but it was
he's a straight and narrow for the white
But at this, at this point, he could have just been like, oh shit, you're onto me. Behead you.
Yeah, he's very persistent.
But he knows he's been out, Harry is not offering... Yeah, Harry's like, I'm not offering you violence. Are you still gonna... And Morgan sort of has to respect within that he has to finish or whatever, right? So yeah, he is gonna go leave.
And he's almost verges on obsession.
Oh, very much.
With how he deals with Harry.
He's very sort of one-track mind and very sort of exactly that way. which is the problem that Harry's had. He's like, all he wants to do is catch me out, and that's all he's done year after year. Like because that's what he says. Like
Morgan's good at holding a grudge.
He's got a crush.
Well, got a boy crush. But in like the beginning of Stormfront, exactly, he's like literally this. Like every time I do a spell, this guy pops up to see, you know, whether I'm like flicking on the lights or like summoning fairies or like no matter what I do, he's fucking there. What are you doing? What are you doing? What kind of spell was that? Why did you do that? What is it for? What are you doing? So yeah, Morgan definitely obsessive.
A little bit obsessive.
Yeah, for the name of right and justice.
Yeah, so he tries to make his way to the bedroom, but fortunately there is a big, beautiful gray beastie of a cat that explodes right out of it.
Yeah.
Good boy, mister. Good boy.
Ooh, my cat might be a dangerous submersive, Morgan. But yeah, meanwhile, Harry's like shitting his pants.
Right.
Like, oh, fuck. Like, we almost got away with it, and now he's going to find how are we going to explain that?
Can't he just have a date, though? Again, it's hard to see.
Apparently not. No one will ever love him,
Yeah.
and he's still obsessing about his old girlfriend. He's probably not.
It'd be kind of hard to be like, I started an entire war and just got a new girlfriend.
right.
Sucks to be the rest of you, but I'm doing fine.
She's just a hooker.
I had a rough night, guys.
A little stress relief.
Okay, so when I said I was going to watch a porno, you know TV doesn't work. So I have to hire in live entertainment.
A live show.
This is why Butcher couldn't have made Elaine some homely, nobody, awkward. She's got to be believable as the hired hooker.
Despite the fact that scene never plays out like that, just in case.
But, you know, people like fan theories and the behind, you know, he couldn't say
You're
it.
right, you're right.
Right? Everybody knows.
I'm sure there's fan fiction out there that makes Elaine worth it all.
And scene. Okay. So, yes, like a dog with a bone, Morgan is immediately, what? Who's that? Who's in it? Who's that? Is it the vampire girl? Because, yeah, exactly, like, who else could be? Yeah, he's just grasping at straws, too, at this point.
Right.
Like, and, like, I get, but part of me is like, fuck you. Like, I mean, I know he already tried to stop Morgan from coming in, and Morgan shoved his way past, but I'm like, I'd be a lot more pissed with somebody that, again, isn't any kind of a friend, and you're going to start looking through my bedroom? The fuck you are! Like, it's bad enough you're in my living room.
Especially because he doesn't have the Doom of Damocles anymore. It's like, I don't
Got
have...
no authority.
I don't have a parole officer anymore, so you gotta go.
Like, this is just like...
You're not allowed to random drug text me anymore.
Privacy. It was like when the landlord would come by for stuff. I'm like, he can come see the house, but you're not going in my fucking bedroom. And like, he didn't expect to, you know? But it was like, you can't just, who's in your bedroom, Dresden? Not you, Morgan. So yeah.
My almost empty bottle of baby oil, I told you.
That's just the video starting, okay?
You can't go in there unless you've brought a new bottle of baby oil.
Right? And some tequila or something. Anyway, so yes.
Yeah.
So we're all worried about the big reveal, and Mr. saves the day.
Thanks, mister.
Thanks, Mr.
And then, Morgan's parting words is just like, here's the number for the senior council. Call us when you fucking failed.
Yeah, well, and he does, and it's nice that, he did. Ostensibly, this was the message he came to deliver. So it's even more of a dick move, because apparently you were just coming to say, the council's not interfering, you have to solve this, but he's like, let me just harass you about your girlfriend
that
for a
was
while
the
first.
Merlin's ace, and he was directed to do that.
I know, but his backup excuse here was I'm here to deliver a message, the council's not getting involved, you can't go to them for help, here's the number to call when you fail, right? So it was like, that's even more of a dickish asshole thing that you like you say, it makes it that much more deliberate on what you were trying to do, that you brought all that up first, because it's not even like, I have to come and give a message, and you found, an excuse to bring up the rest of the shit.
To be fair, though, you didn't have to hand over a business card if they're dead. Save the paper.
This is true. He doesn't even hand it over, he just, flicks it on the floor.
But still, why even bother?
Which Harry will never find, because apparently his apartment is so trashed. There's, it's just pizza boxes and Coke cans. He's like, well, I don't even fucking know where that went now.
I'm gonna say, what was Morgan thinking stepping into this, too?
He's like, what have I done?
Maybe I shouldn't kick a guy when he's this fucking low. How about Morgan?
Either that, or maybe it's just a mercy killing at this point. If this is how you live, how did you get a girlfriend?
Based on the way you showed up at the meeting today, not even surprised.
Right.
Not showered, covered in toad guts, not a real wizard robe.
Bathrobe. Yeah.
I'm like, honestly, this is exactly what I expected to walk into.
Maybe Morgan had a slightly fair point. But yeah, that's another like insult to injury. It's like, so Harry was like, okay, well, I'm supposed to do this, but now realizing the scope and the impact and the players, let's go talk to the council and lay it. And the council is basically, and I'm sure motivated muchly by the Merlin and that, but they're just like, you know what? We're just going to make it so he's not allowed to ask for help. If he's really a really real wizard, then he'll do it on his own. So yeah, he's like, screw you. You can't. So he's even taken that option away from even trying to find help. And, when you fail, fuck you.
Yeah, so he does leave, and then Elaine emerges from the bedroom and confirms that she confirms that Morgan was baiting him, and then questions Dresden's suggestions to involve the council.
And
like, why would
this is what
why
you
the fuck would you do this?
Yeah.
Like, this is what you have? Yeah.
Yeah. She's like, this is what you want to submit myself to?
They're not all like that. And she's like, come on, buddy.
Yeah. So, but she's, I do like that, or my idea of the, but she's like, wow, she's like, that's way past paranoid. And I just keep thinking of the line in the original book. He's like, just because you're paranoid doesn't mean there's an invisible demon about to eat your face. Or like, angry, obsessive warden willing to,
Cut off that face.
Or whatever. But she's like, and this is again, she's like, I'm not going to make myself vulnerable to men like that. Not again. So again, we don't know if there's anything else that's happened. You have to assume that's her reference to Justin. Was this
right? Well, that's clear, obvious one.
Yeah, a wizard warlock thing that like basically was just there to manipulate and get his own gain. And she's like, as
pretty
far
much
as I'm
has to be
concerned,
Justin, because otherwise, like, if she's been in Sanctuary this whole time, they're doing a pretty shit job.
Well, I mean, I was gonna say it's not that she couldn't have encountered anybody before she instantly ran to Fairy or whatever, but yeah, it's just basically that's her whole, and yeah, you can't blame her, but it's like, this is pretty much my only view, and it's not getting any better.
Which is fair.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yep.
So,
We'll agree with you there.
Yeah. So he kind of tries half-heartedly, and she's like, are you gonna rat on me? And he's like, fine, no. And meanwhile, he's like, I'm just getting in like 10 times more trouble. Like, fine, I want to respect you and your choices, and I'm not gonna rat you out. But he's like, you don't understand how much more bad this is gonna be if it comes out in a wrong way that I knew about this and was Herbery. And I'm like, I do and I don't get, because he's like somebody that may also have broken the first law, and I'm like, but she didn't. She wasn't in the fight against Justin. She didn't try to kill you. She bound you. She didn't try to kill Justin. She just got the fuck out, and you didn't know what happened. So I'm like, how is she a violator of the first law?
That prevents her from controlling another human, which is what she tried to do by
Well, I guess, but that was because she was controlled by Judd. But the first law is thou shalt not kill with magic.
Which she would have to actually prove that she was enthralled.
Okay, fine, but she didn't try to kill anybody.
Right.
She put a spell on. I mean, and that's actually the other thing, is she didn't try to control Harry. She just locked him in place so Justin could break in, because he hadn't taught them the mind magic yet, right? He still wanted all the cards. He wanted them to be able, so why he hadn't told the council about them or them about the council. So that was it. All he did was, once he enthralled her, he was like, you hold him still so I can, quote unquote, talk sense into him. And that was all Elaine did, was she just put a binding around him to literally physically hold him in place, while Justin did the mental attack and tried to enthrall him. So
Harry had to fight both of them off.
Super but
strong.
Nowhere in any of that do I see where Elaine would have suspicion of breaking the first law, and why that. I mean, I understand, like, okay, you should come out to the council because they don't know about you, and the whole Justin thing is a mess, and you can, before shit gets worse. But
presumably you wouldn't be on trial.
Yeah,
there'd
but
be some suspicions
that's
there, and like weird muddying of the water.
Yeah,
I'd even see it more as Harry just being like, "Why the fuck didn't you say anything?" Which again, more easily explained. Like, I thought she died in the fire anyway, so who cared?
Yeah, exactly. But that's just it, where he's he's laying around. I'm like, I don't understand why Elaine would have that much on her, but okay, whatever.
Oh, did I forget to mention all the times I tried to kill Justin in the night?
Oh, whoops.
When Elaine goes to leave, and like he's like, they're gonna be watching the place, and he's like, I'll veil, and he's like,
they're pretty good.
I'm better. Fair enough. Fairies are pretty good.
Yes.
If you spent a decade just sitting around them, I'd hope you'd have picked up something.
I was going to say.
Which goes back to our point, I think, from last episode, where it's like, why would you come to Harry on fairies when you're the fairy expert? Presumably, there's no other wizard on Earth that knows the Fae as you do after you spent a fucking decade with them.
Although, in all fairness, she didn't come to him for fairy expertise. She did come to him more for the investigation expertise, because she doesn't know how to solve a murder case, right? That's more.
She came to him for a PI.
She doesn't really come to him and ask him about how to deal with fairies. She's more like, I'm in this mess with the fairies. What the fuck do I do? And he's like, well, I can't help you. I'm in the same mess for the other side. But yes, it was more that she came to that point.
She came looking for a PI. Fair enough.
Yes, yeah. And it just so happens he already got snapped up by the other team. So he's like, well, dude, I can't help you. But I will. Oh, I'm such an idiot.
Yeah. You are, Harry, you are.
So yeah, and he makes a good point. He's like, how will I get in touch with you? She's like, you're the one with an office and an answering service. How about I call you? Which, again, way to go, Elaine. You pop up out of the middle of nowhere. I'm still alive. I need your help. But you know what? I'm still going to keep it all really close.
I'll call you.
Yeah, I'm still going to tell you where I am or how to get a hold of me or whatever. So, I mean, yes, it's a point, but it's also
these girls.
Pretty shady abuses. Yeah.
Well, and again, like, part of it is, like, dismantled just by how much Harry trusts her. But it's like, if he'd even questioned it a little bit, you know, the audience would question it a little bit more, too. But she's just like, okay, bye now. And we're like, all right, bye. Like, I guess, all right. Harry's not concerned. We're not concerned. But it's like, really, it's like,
exactly.
Where the fuck did you come from and why?
Lots of loose ends with her.
Yeah, totally.
Yup.
So she does take her leave.
If anyone's a plant from the beginning, I'd assume Elaine over Susan, just based on this. Like,
yeah,
so convenient for you to turn up.
Right, exactly. Like, there's got to be something more. Mm-hmm. But no, folks, that's it. That's Elaine in a nutshell, right?
There could always be a future book. Could always be a future book.
You know.
I don't know. I honestly hope so, because otherwise her entire existence is like.
It's only chapter 9. This is all you need. This is Elaine.
This is Elaine.
There's no foreshadowing. There's no subplot.
Not a lot going on.
There's no misdirection. There's nothing. Yeah. So yeah, he stands there.
See, nothing comes out of sleeping with your adopted sister.
Let that be a lesson to you, folks. I have no family. We weren't related. We just got adopted by the same guy. Okay,
I know, right? Sure. Murphy honestly let it go a little too easily. I'm like, all right.
Well, she wasn't in the mood to get her ass on, like, why she married a 30-year-old when she was 17.
Enough,
so she's like, man, I'll just let it pass this time.
Is this the battle I want to pick?
Is it? Yeah.
No.
When he's already looking at me funny because I'm, like, stoned and drunk. And, you know, she's like, next time, Dresden. So Mr. Conveniently and Nicely hasn't gone far. He'll just come back in. So Harry doesn't look that weird for leaving the door open. And then he decides to just take a minute. He's like, I'm just going to sit down on the couch. And it's just as well. Because the next day, things got complicated.
Excuse me, after Elaine left, he went and stared at Elaine's Christmas card.
No, he didn't, because Elaine has never sent him a Christmas or
Susan
birthday
is
card.
what I meant to say. You know what I meant to say.
Yes, he sent her a Christmas, which is always weird when he's like, Morgan walks over and like picked up the gift card and like that. To me, a gift card is like something you like money at a store that you go and buy something with. A greeting card is like a card you send somebody for like, so I'm like, it's just the way that he was like he went over and looked
at gift cards in America?
I know why. I don't know. This is the thing.
Jim Butcher just wrong.
I know it's definitely. I can go back for 1 second and see if he just read.
You lived in America for so long, Tansenn. Tell us. You didn't get a single birthday card while you were there?
Well, I just don't think I've ever heard anyone. I've been in that circumstance where anybody referred to it to me in the States.
He does, because I was like, is this one of Marster's misreads? But no, it does say, he's like, he walked over to the fireplace and picked up a dust-covered gift card I'd left sitting on the mantle. He read it and snorted. And I'm like, a gift card? But yeah, exactly. That was just always a weird.
Here's a gift certificate.
Here's $10 to
to
McAnally's
Chili's.
Pubcast.
Like like a gift card is now those little plastic credit cards you buy for people at Christmas when you don't know what to buy them. But
your next Burger King's on me, Harry. I love you.
Right. But anyway, so yes, he goes over and looks at the card that Morgan had the nerve to touch and disturb, and the photograph. Actually, this is something I was thinking about too, because it says he took the picture. They'd been at the park when he took the picture, and I'm like, does Harry have one of those like super ancient, original, like accordion maybe even with like the little pedestal and flash because he can't take. He doesn't have a digital pocket in his camera to shoot a snap.
Yeah, but they would have been like disposable cameras. There's not much to them. Like, there's an aperture.
But I was like,
it's very, very simple mechanics for photos.
It's possible,
So
but like you say, does Dresden just have a simple like 35 mil? Or I'm like, I kind of want to envision that he has, like he's got like this ancient original fucking like inherited it from McCoy or something camera.
I feel like it's
like
more-
this'll definitely not.
I feel like it's more like Susan showed up to a date with a disposable camera.
Yes,
Right.
probably. But you guys are no fun at all.
I mean, it is a very entertaining idea, but at the same time, it's such simple technology for photos, really.
Yeah.
Yes, just a simple click camera, but yeah.
Yeah, if you're in America or anywhere else in the world that says gift card instead of greeting card, or is Jim Butcher just a weirdo? Because I'm confused now if that's just like their terminology.
Maybe it's a Midwest thing. They say weird things there.
Yeah, they like changed every word to something new.
Maybe. Inquiring minds want to know.
Is it pop? Is it a Coke?
Is it soda?
Is it soda?
Is it soda pop?
Pop, pop. You're not there yet. You'll get there.
Okay. I'm like, yeah, I don't get that one.
Next season, Critical Role.
Pop, pop,
Pop, pop.
pop, pop.
This concludes our episode 9.8, Threefold Attack. Thank you for listening. You can find us online at freeflowrambling.com and McAnally's.ca. There we have links to our other podcasts, social media, and other fun tidbits. Please subscribe if you like what you're hearing, and consider supporting us through Patreon to keep the magic alive and to see more content. We are Free Flow Rambling. Conjure by it at your own risk.